We're closely watching the Manhattan District Attorney's Office right now for word of a potential indictment of former President Trump.
That's right. This would be an unprecedented move, the first time in U.S. history that a former president was charged with a crime. The 45th president has come under scrutiny for allegedly falsifying business records to hide campaign finance violations. All of this revolving around payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Now, outraged Trump supporters lined the road to the former president's Mar-a-Lago estate Tuesday, as they were directed to do by the former president himself, while anti-Trump protesters here in New York City, you see them on the right of your screen, they do want to see the DA take action. CBS News investigative reporter Graham Cates is outside the Manhattan DA's office for us and can bring us up to speed on the latest. I guess, Graham, tell us what the mood has been like where you are, considering there are many in support and in opposition of the former president, as we stand by for what could be an indictment.
Yeah, it's pretty tense here, but, you know, there's a real difference from yesterday compared to today. Over the weekend, former President Trump had called for his supporters to show up on Tuesday. He had predicted he would be arrested on Tuesday. And so yesterday there were a couple of dozen of supporters and a couple dozen people who were against Trump, and they were kind of milling about and doing little kind of sparse protests outside the courthouse. And today there's really not nearly as many people. There's I've seen maybe two people I would classify as protesters here. Obviously, nothing happened yesterday. We're waiting to see when anything is going to happen in this case. But it's a lot calmer, but still tense here.
Two protesters. That definitely puts it into context for us, Graham. So let's talk about the next steps. Tell us what factors the district attorney needs to consider before moving forward with a vote on an indictment.
So this grand jury has been meeting since mid-January, talking to, we've seen a stream of former White House staffers under Trump, as well as former employees of Trump in the Trump organization come through. And they're looking at how this payment, this $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels was made and how it was logged. And at some point they have to decide, are we going to ask the grand jury for an indictment in this, or are we not going to ask them? And then, of course, the grand jury itself has to vote. There are 23 grand jurors. They need 12 votes in order to get the indictment.
And we should be crystal clear for our viewers. There's this Manhattan DA potential indictment. Maybe it happens today, maybe it doesn't. But there's also this separate investigation into the handling of classified documents. There's a special counsel in charge of that. And there are reports that there's evidence on that side of things that Trump may have misled his own lawyers. Talk to us about why that detail is so crucial right now.
Right, the special counsel down in D.C. wants Evan Corcoran, one of Trump's attorneys, to breach attorney-client privilege and testify before the grand jury there. Now, that's very unusual, and it really is only able to happen when they have evidence that not testifying would help cover up a crime. Now, we should note that yesterday a stay was put into place to prevent him from doing that for now, while an appeals court considers that effort.
All right, we will continue to watch all of that closely. Graham Cates, busy day, busy week for you, as it always is. Thanks for connecting with us.